The movie starts in a beautiful but troubled small town in the United States. Sadly, the town has a big drug problem because many drug dealers operate freely there. We meet Sheriff Mike, who is having a hard time dealing with a great loss. One morning, Mike finds the dead body of his son, who died from a drug overdose. Seeing his son like that was a huge shock, and Mike was heartbroken. He never thought he would lose his son in such a terrible way. The story then moves to a man named Shelby John. He is running an errand for his girlfriend, Ruby, by getting drinks for their evening at home. When he gets back, Ruby welcomes him warmly. Like many others in the town, John and Ruby are struggling with drug addiction. As they settle in for the night, they follow their usual routine of taking drugs together. One sunny day, John and Ruby are talking on the front porch of their home. Ruby tells John she wants to stop using drugs and live a normal life like other people. John says they tried to quit a few days ago, but the withdrawal symptoms were too hard to handle. Ruby shares her dream of getting married, having a family, and living a normal life with John. After talking a lot, they decide they need to get away from the drugs that are controlling their lives. They know it will be difficult, but they are determined to change. They gather all their drugs and drug-taking tools and throw them away. In the following days, they manage to stay drug-free, but soon the withdrawal symptoms hit them hard. They feel sick, have convulsions, anxiety, and depression, and have a strong urge to give up. The withdrawal is tough, but their desire to be free from drugs is stronger. They push through the pain and keep working towards their goal of living a drug-free life. One day, Ruby, overwhelmed by her cravings, tried to buy drugs again. But John stepped in, determined to overcome their addiction together. Through perseverance and support, they managed to stay away from drugs for a long time. This new sobriety brought positive changes in their lives. Ruby went to church for the first time, and John bought a wedding ring, showing his commitment to their future together. While running errands, John met a man named Elvis, who used to sell drugs to them. Elvis asked why John hadn't bought drugs in a while. John proudly said that he and Ruby had quit and asked Elvis to leave them alone. Meanwhile, in the criminal world, the gang leader, Coyote, who controlled drug trafficking in the city, had his own problems. After killing one of his men for stealing drugs, Coyote reflected on the harsh reality of his life. John and Ruby, happy and stable, planned to visit Ruby's family to share the news of their upcoming wedding. A few days later, they went to Ruby's family home to celebrate her nephew's birthday. Her uncle Peter, who had always supported Ruby after her father left, welcomed them warmly. Peter was known for his strong religious beliefs and was a respected community member. During lunch after the birthday celebration, Ruby announced that she and John were getting married. Ruby's biological mother, Greta, was surprised that John hadn't asked her permission first. John quickly apologized and promised to be a loving and devoted husband to Ruby. Greta eventually gave her blessing, and Peter was overjoyed to welcome such a kind-hearted man into the family. In the days before their wedding, John wanted Ruby to have fun, so he took her out for some activities. During one outing, Ruby said she wanted to be baptized before their wedding. John fully supported her wish and agreed right away. The next day, John came home and found Elvis, the former drug dealer, waiting for him. Elvis claimed he had something new that John and Ruby would love, but John refused to listen. Angry, John warned Elvis not to offer drugs to them again and threatened him if he did. As Elvis left the house, he bumped into Ruby's car. Ruby asked what Elvis was doing there, and Elvis lied, saying John had asked for some new goods. This lie confused Ruby, as she didn't know John was still struggling with addiction. Elvis even gave Ruby some new drugs as a gift because she had been a loyal customer. Feeling betrayed by John, Ruby accepted the drugs without thinking. When they got home, John noticed Ruby was acting strangely and asked why. Ruby, hiding her inner struggle, said everything was fine as she prepared for her baptism. The next day, John found Ruby on the porch, dead from a drug overdose. He was devastated, especially since their wedding was just 2 days away. Despite his grief, John honored Ruby's last wish and took her to her baptism. The priest suggested John get baptized too, but John declined, saying he had some sins to confess first. Seeking revenge on Elvis, John went home to get weapons but only found a nail gun. It turned out John was a former Special Forces operative. After John left, Sheriff Mike and his men arrived. Mike had heard about Ruby's death and worried that John might seek revenge. But when they searched for John, he was already gone. Later that evening, John went straight to Elvis's house. As Elvis was about to open the door, John kicked it down, knocking Elvis back. He ordered Elvis's wife and children to leave the house immediately. John then confronted Elvis about why he was still giving drugs to Ruby, even though he knew the risks. Elvis admitted he was under pressure to sell 1 kilogram of drugs each month, so he tricked Ruby into using drugs again. John demanded to know where the drugs came from. After much questioning, Elvis revealed he got them from a dealer named Darius. Hearing this, John quickly left to find Darius, taking some of Elvis's weapons with him. Soon after John left, Sheriff Mike arrived at Elvis's house. Elvis's wife had called him. Mike and his team found a large stash of drugs that Elvis was about to sell. John went to a hotel where he believed Darius was staying. When he reached the hotel room, John violently attacked Darius, demanding to know the source of the drugs. Darius said he also wanted to leave the drug trade, but couldn't because of his boss's pressure. Darius' men warned him not to reveal his boss's name. But John kept pushing until Darius finally said his boss was a man named Coyote, who lived in a remote village with other gang members. Darius warned John that he needed to get rid of Coyote before Coyote could harm them. However, for some reason, John decided to leave instead of carrying out Darius' request. Soon after, Mike and one of his team members arrived at the hotel. They had heard about the trouble John caused. Mike tried to question Darius' right-hand man, who was in an ambulance because his leg was shot. At first, the young man didn't want to talk. But after Mike tortured him, he revealed that John was on his way to Coyote's hideout in a remote village. John arrived near Coyote's base and decided to watch them before attacking. He saw Coyote executing one of his men for betrayal. He also noticed a car full of drugs ready to be transported. John stopped the car and killed the driver, then blew up the vehicle with grenades. Sneaking into the headquarters through a back road, John went on a killing spree, taking out all the gang members and Coyote's henchmen. He eventually cornered Coyote, but when he was about to shoot, he realized he was out of bullets. A fierce hand-to-hand fight followed until Coyote fled into the forest. John grabbed a nearby gun and chased after him. Meanwhile, Mike and one of his men arrived and joined the chase. After a long pursuit, Coyote tried to call the mafia leader he worked with, but John intercepted the call. To his shock, John discovered that the mastermind behind the city's drug trafficking was someone he knew. Just as John was about to kill Coyote, Mike arrived with his gun drawn and asked John to stop, promising to handle the situation and ensure Coyote was punished. As John began to relax, one of Coyote's men appeared and shot at Mike's companion. John quickly took down the attacker. Coyote also met the same fate as he tried to escape. John and Mike carried the injured men out of the forest and found a passerby who helped get Mike's men to the hospital. Mike went with his men for medical treatment, while John set out to confront the mastermind behind the city's drug trafficking. John was shocked to find out that the mastermind was Peter, Ruby's uncle, whom he thought was a devout man. Peter revealed that he turned to drug trafficking to support Ruby's family. When Peter pulled out a gun and aimed it at John, they fought fiercely. In the end, John overpowered Peter and injected him with drugs, making Peter feel the same pain Ruby had suffered. After Peter died, John sought out a priest and asked to be baptized in the same river as Ruby, seeking redemption for all that he had done. So the moral of the story is, if you're planning a wedding in a small town with a big drug problem, be prepared for an action-packed adventure with former special forces, unexpected betrayals, and a nail-gun showdown. And remember, always check who your uncle really is before inviting him to the family barbecue.